So earlier this month, I posted another video in this recreating iconic Akira scenes in Blender series that I'm doing now. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I put everything together from start to finish. I think this shot is a bit simpler than the previous one, still iconic nonetheless. It also ended up being a bit more tedious with getting the building and the lighting just right, but hopefully you're still able to follow along and it all makes sense and kind of how it came together. Before we jump in, I just want to mention that I recorded this whole process without like a face cam because it's like stupid hot where I live right now. Just my office is small and just super hot, and so I just wanted to save you the anguish of like watching me melt on camera. But anyway, let's jump into the video. This is the same scene that I used in the previous video. I just kind of stripped everything else off of it. I got the lights in there just like before. So let's start building out this scene. This is the scene we're going to be working on. This is the next one that comes right after the one I just did, so sequentially. But it's not as intense. I think there's not as much going on. You can kind of see it's just like buildings right next to each other, kind of in a parallel orientation, if that makes sense. So I think this one is hopefully not as much work as the last one, because the last one was a little bit of a like head scratcher with how the parallax and everything like that was working. So, and hopefully we'll save some time here with some of these pre-made buildings. So I'm gonna start dragging them in and build out from the front to the back. So first let me orient where the camera is. Camera is down here. Okay, I think the camera's in a good spot. Let's start bringing in the buildings and building it out. So the first one is, I think, this one. So this is the balcony row building that's in the foreground here. You can see it in this image. And what I'm going to do is use an array modifier to stack it up. There we go. And now let's get that to where the camera can see it. Might need to increase the size of it, I think. Yeah, again, like the last video, probably going to keep the camera where it is, and all of the animation is going to be coming from the buildings. Buildings are going to be what are doing all the movement. So let me get these in position. I might have to adjust the camera a little bit to get the perspective right, and also this might be one of those instances where I have to do it widescreen instead of tall. It's been nice doing it in portrait mode. This just looks better, you know, like on Reels and all social media and stuff like that, but it is kind of going against the original film. And so one thing I want to make clear is that I'm not necessarily trying to recreate the film, and I've been getting a lot of comments and questions like, you should watch Akira Awaken, like that's way better. And like it is, like undoubtedly that is better. I watch it all the time. Ash is just a legend. So I just, you know, don't want to feel bad all the time, like watching that and then like looking at my work, I'm like, damn. But that is its own thing. I'm just kind of doing this for fun, for exercise, for myself, for what looks cool, learning as I go, and then sharing that process with you guys. So this is just kind of, I'm just kind of going and then seeing how I feel about it. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, just trying to get the angle correct here. I think it's a little too... Maybe bring the camera back some. It is also tilted. The camera is leaning in, I think, the right way. Oh wait, is it? Yeah, it's not totally vertical, so like, I mean, the buildings are not vertical, but I think that's the look. Let's turn this a little bit more, almost like just a side view like that. I think everyone should do something like this. I think everyone should take it's basically like a master study. You know, if as a painter, you would look at a master at a Renaissance painting and then try to recreate it. So the same way, you know, like this is a master study in the sense, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Everyone should do this. This is a great way to learn like compositions, to study like cinematography from your favorite movie and try recreating that in whether in 3D or in Photoshop or whatever in a sketchbook. I definitely think this is a great exercise to learn, because I've been learning a lot. And I've been trying a lot of techniques out that I normally probably wouldn't have tried out if I just wasn't working on something like this. Let's turn this camera a bit more. Okay, so that one I think is almost in the place I want it to be. I think I gotta pull the camera back even more. Or maybe just make this smaller. Yeah, let's just make it smaller. I'll have to figure out how I wanna make this look when I wanna render it out in like profile view. I mean, in portrait. I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. So the next one is going to be this one. Just kind of labeled the buildings like B1, B2 as the building in order. Okay, so this is the one where it's a modified version of one of the other buildings I have. So they're all kind of in the same angle this time, which I think, again, makes it a little bit easier. Make it bigger. And that is a little bit behind. So I'm watching the animation on a second monitor, and when I watch, it's really a few frames, but I think that it's still worth doing, even though it's a short shot. It's got some interesting things going on. Like the buildings are only moving for a couple frames, but those frames really tell a lot. I do want to turn this more like that. I'm really looking at this scene in the film, this little sequence, and it's the longer I look at all the perspective of the buildings and the faces of the buildings, the more confused I am. But maybe that's just me. I need to stop looking at it so hard and just work. These last two buildings are really cool because I tried a method of using AI to create windows instead of just like manually doing it with photos and photo bashing and things like that. So I used Midjourney to create these tileable, super dense grids of windows, and you know it's realistic. So like each window has a little bit of a different thing going on, and they're pretty detailed, and they ended up working really well. It took a couple of tries, but I was really happy with how it turned out. Okay, cool. This is the side that I want, and again we see a little bit of it, not too much. Like that. I think I might want to do an array modifier in this one, because in this shot the buildings get the windows get real tiny the further back they go. So let's see about kind of get oh, you know what, like in this shot compositionally I'm trying to match the composition, so how much you're seeing of this building matches the shot in the frame from the movie. But it's tough because I'm not trying to, it's like I'm trying to do one for one. I'm trying to do a faithful master study, but I'm not like, just as long as it looks cool. I'm just doubting myself, really. That's all it is. I'm doubting myself. And then the last one is this one, and this one is so cool. I can't wait for you to see it. So these, like, again, these last two buildings in the background, I used Midjourney to fill in. I used actually Midjourney to fill in all of the windows. So it's a totally updated, a facelift on the window textures from the one that I did last time. Let's do an array modifier on this one just to make it taller. Cool. All right. I might need to make it bigger to rotate a bit. Yeah, it's starting to kind of lose its detail. I watched the movie again and I noticed a lot of the buildings, there's some building shots where the buildings are just lights. Like you don't even see structure, you just see a cube or like a rectangle with millions of rows of lights, seemingly. Especially the one time where like Tetsuo kind of breaks out of the facility and he's floating. In that shot, you can really see a lot of buildings that are just like glowing cubes almost. And that was when I realized, okay, with some buildings it's okay to have noticeable window panes and like window frames and stuff, but with other buildings, the ones that are like in the distance, I really need to get just abstract with how I'm representing the windows and the colors. All right. Ooh, yeah, this looks so weird and abstract, but this is it. I think this is what we want. So let's turn on the this is facing the wrong way. There we go. Look at that, huh? Now, if you watch the anime, you'll see some buildings that just look like that, and it's crazy. All right, so now we need the lights. And the lights are going to be, again, a big old just mess of things. Ooh, that looks good already. You see right here? Like that? Yeah, that's looking really nice. This part, though, this is the goodness right here. Yes, that's it. Ah, that looks so good. One thing is we're not really catching a lot of the light in this one. So let me see if I can turn it so you can, I think I messed up with the geometry. Like it's hard to see it. Let's see if I can modify it. So I'm just gonna push these back in a little bit so that it reveals a little bit of the windows. Yeah, it's not really coming through as much as I'd like. It's what we need, but it's like too subtle. I might need to do a little artistic license here and turn it a little bit more. Same thing with this one. Push it back a bit. Let me see if I can squish it. Bring it out like that. Okay, yeah. So now let's start moving these lights around. I do want it to get really dark in here, in this like little crevice area. So this is just a negative value light, so it projects instead of light a shadow, which is kind of fun for Eevee, especially if you want to like mess around with just really art direct the lighting. You can art direct the shadows too. That's giving us a pretty good effect. I like that. There we go. But I do want it to be facing this building. Yeah, there we go. Because I don't need it there. Although I do need a version of it here, kind of like that. Because the balconies need to be in shadow. I think I'm going to be using this a lot, just because the way that the lighting looks. The lighting in this one is a little tough. All right, I think that's good for now. Let me take these two and just parent them to the building, so that for future reference, if I move the building, it moves with it. I'm basically gonna need a shadow facing this whole building. Ooh, that's kind of the look. Except for the light is hitting on the left side here. I mean, on the right side. I need the shadow to be there, not. So I needed to turn it or something. I think like that. So let's bring in a light, a normal light, and let's see how what that'll look like. Like that, because that is kind of the look there. There's a light coming from that side. This is fun. It's like, I don't know, like a puzzle almost. Just make it a little bit orange. It's fun trying to match up the colors too. I have this plaster that I'm just gonna duplicate and call it something else, darker, because it does need to be darker. There we go. Yeah, and I like this part, especially with like how the lights are kind of breaking through a little bit. That's really nice. Just keep saying like that's nice, but that's kind of, all right, that's kind of there. And then I think then we need another light for this building, because there's a really bright light kind of looking at it. Yeah, having like the really bright light come from the bottom is really key here, and making it feel like you're looking at the very tops of these buildings. It's like an optical, yeah, because it's like ambient glow from the city streets, and the less of an intense glow it is, the higher up you feel like you are among the buildings. Yeah, nice. And like what's cool like about parenting the lights and shadows to it is that if I move it around, it still kind of has the same vibe. You know what I mean? Like it has its own local color and light and everything like that. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably just add a light up top. So these will be the two shadows, and then there will be, what is this light? Not a blue, but something close. And we'll take this from a blue to a like pink beige like that, because that's the color that we have. There we go. It's a little bit intense, and I want to turn it like that. So then this corner can have the shadow, and then this side can have the light. I really like the way the light is catching that. Bring it right up against the building. So I think that's at a good spot. This middle building I really like. That turned out really good. I think the balconies need to get pushed back a little bit. Yeah, and that reveals more of the windows, which is important. It's also probably that the balconies are a different color. Like actually, that's why. Ooh, I like the darker it gets. I kind of like that. Now we just need this last part in the back. That's definitely got to go there. This really bright light. Let's make that a bit bigger. Rotate it. Yeah, the lights are a little bit more muted in the original version, but I like how intense they are in our version. Like that. Ooh, you know I love that right there. And I'll need to add I'm gonna keep that. Yeah, and this is why I like also the shadow maker, because it's like you want the buildings to be darker up top because less of that street light is reaching it. With just how the scene is set up, it's not happening naturally, so we have to kind of force it. I like how it looks, because when it's dark like that, that's what kind of gives us the like cell shaded look, but it's also a little too strong. I think it's kind of playing against us. Whoa. Never mess with changing the colors up too much, but it's interesting how it works. Maybe this is too strong, I don't know. I think it might be too strong, but I do like it. I just like how it's slightly different colors. Again, like I've been getting comments like, this is not exactly it, and like it's okay. I'm not trying to replace. I don't think it's better like than the original. Like this is just my own thing, okay? I think I need to bump this down. It's just too strong. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's canceling out the shadow because it's just so damn strong. But it does need to get really close like that. This one is definitely requiring a lot more lights than the previous scene somehow. I don't know how. Maybe I'm doing too much, but this one is requiring a lot of lights. So how much of the camera is in the volume is also impacting the overall like saturation of it. So you can see like if I move it back, or wait, Like if I move the volume back, it becomes brighter, and like the volume is like absorbing more of the light. So maybe I'm just trying to see if that can factor in. I just need these like little faces in the front. I want to pull them out a little. Ooh, there we go. That's kind of what I want. Yeah, I just want to pull them out so that they cast a little bit of a shadow there, and that's kind of working. It's like when you're making art, if one thing's, you can be in a flow and things are like looking good and you're getting the results that you want, and then at the moment you get something that you're not really feeling, you're like, this whole thing is at risk at being a disaster. Even though like 90% of the stuff is working and other things are working and you have nothing to worry about. I'm not saying everyone feels this way, I feel this way. Like one thing is not working and I'm like, oh no, and I just fixate on that. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in this building specifically. It's like really dark up top, and then I think the material might be dark too. Maybe I need to replace it with the darker variant. Maybe make it smaller even, just to get like more. Yeah, there we go. That's looking about as good as it's ever gonna get. And then this is the last one, and it is just a dense thing. What's this light looking like? Okay. Yeah, that's what we want, that light. That's it. Like the first couple times I did this, I really wasn't trying to replicate the lighting exactly. I was just kind of going off of what looked cool, and a little bit of replication. But now I think I'm going way too hard and trying to get the lighting exactly the same. So let me not do that, because I'm just taking the fun out of it for myself. Cool. Let's make it a little darker. Ooh, yeah, so I think that light is way too bright. That's what it was. So we'll get the color closer to what we want, like here. Cool. All right. So now we just have to make sure all the right lights are parented to the right buildings. I think this one needs to get paired to this. Yep. And then this all needs to get paired to this one. And then this one just paired to that. See if we can turn this one a little bit more. Okay, we're not losing too much of the detail. All right, so I think we're good here. Now just about finalizing the bloom and all that stuff. Ooh, the bloom is so fun. Threshold really sells the like vintage anime look. Everything's like blown out, because like now it looks like 4K, like the 4K remaster where everything's like darkened for some reason. Let's alter this UV map real quick. Okay, cool. So let's get back in here and take some of these. I think we have to make them taller a little bit, but then that's going to change the build. I think we're just better off doing this. Yeah, that's better, I think. Even still looks good. Let's see what happens if we just move the camera, because I wasn't planning on moving the camera, but let's just see what happens. Ooh. I'm going to animate the buildings anyway. I really just love this background building. This one turned out so good. Woohoo! That looks so sick. Just make everything slightly brighter, make all the windows brighter. Yeah, there we go. I really want to make it bloom really good. All right, cool. So this is ready to animate. Let's do it. Look like the camera is moving down. The background building is hardly moving. Okay, so it looks like this building it looks like it's moving this way and then back. I think I'm gonna bring it a little closer. Have it start there. Yeah. So it moves back like that. Okay. And this one is also, oh, and this is also moving up because the camera is like moving down. Cool. So let's do it that. Also moving back some, moving up some. Yeah, there we go. The effect is much stronger now. So I'm just getting too subtle with the animation. Oh, okay. So this will just need to go higher. All right, I think it's good for now. We'll just fine tune it later. Same thing here, is just moving up. And then at the end, let's This moved up some and this way. Ooh, this one's moving too fast, I think, for this one. Yeah. Man, this is cool. It's really coming together. I think I want to move the buildings more. Maybe to move the camera a little bit. Let's see if like camera. Oh, okay, yeah, we gotta move the camera a bit. I mean, that's just like doing so much for the effect. It's just helping so much. Oh, that's looking so much better. Wow. I want this one to move too because it adds to the effect. Damn, that's looking so good. I love that. And the camera motion really helps. This back building, what do we want to do with it? It's also moving subtly, so I think we'll just move it up. And we'll just like move it up a slight bit like that. Ooh, I feel that. I'm feeling it. Like I feel like I'm sinking down. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, I feel that. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I love how it like loads in, fades in. Oh, that's like inside. That's why it's like that. Okay. I don't know, I kind of like that like really dark gradient. It looks cool. It's like too dramatic, but I don't know. I like it. Yeah, that's looking so much better. It's like a simpler scene, but man, it's just looking. It works. I thought this was just gonna be like a really simple scene, like not too much, but I love how this turned out. So I want this one moving more than this building, and I want this one to be revealing this darker building. There needs to feel like there's a distance between this building and this building, like a big highway or something. Still not a fan of this light. I don't know why it's just not working for me. Maybe it's that. Maybe I needed to turn more or something. I'll keep it like that. Maybe not, who knows? Every time I say I'm done, I'm like, I would spend another 3 hours on it. I kind of like when it's darker like that. I like that more. Yeah. You can't see it, but I'm smiling. This is looking good. So let's pass this through the final render, through the compositor, and I think we'll be done. All right, well, I just want to say thank you for watching and for just watching me struggle through my way through this. Again, I'm having fun with this project, so if you're having fun, if you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the videos, the everything I have to offer, if you're enjoying it, wherever you found my work, just like keep following me on there. And if you have any questions or suggestions or feedback or things you want to see that maybe I'm not showing, let me know in the comments below. And again, I'll have links to all the resources that I can think of that I might have used during this process or something that I think could help you out. And also, if you want the building, the window light textures, these textures that I made in Midjourney, I'll have a link to where you can download those as well. Yeah, it's all for you. It's all for you. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and butt grease.